Right, so there's two heartbroken cards in your energy. I don't believe this is you. I believe this is someone that you've let go of, somebody who was playing games, somebody who brought drama to your life, somebody who was withholding, somebody that possibly had a culture difference. Culture difference doesn't have to be religion, race, status. It could be just not aligned in values. So put that where that fits. This person could have done a number on you, um, but you're not the type of person to take revenge. I think you've just removed your energy, and you don't actually need to take revenge because you've got spiritual counsel and God does it for you. Not that God goes around taking revenge, but there's a divine justice in the universe, a divine balance, and it will always find its way eventually. And the energy I'm feeling from this, it has, and it's happening right now. And where you are is over here. You've healed this. You may not have completely healed it, but I'm definitely tapping into some people that have. Your vibration has changed. You're out of this energy of where they were trying to put you in heartbreak, and or at least frustration and feeling powerless and just in a sort of nine of swords sort of energy, nine swords, ten of swords, four of swords. So you're just constantly in the sort of lower vibrations, and you're out of that. You're healing, if not completely healed, because we've got your heart is healed, this, and your spirit is healed also. Your spirit's not, it's not a case of your spirit being healed, but your heart is healed enough so your spirit can come in, like rather than it being sort of the door being shut. So I've got two cards for you here that there's three here saying joy, happy, harmony, vibration change. This is what you're stepping into or you're already in. And Spirit's saying to you that a lot of this comes from relaxing. Of course, if you can't relax, like lie back and relax and do things, it's about relaxing inside, like relax as much as possible to get into that vibration. Enjoy the little things, enjoy the ride as much as you can, and just know you have graduated this lesson. It was a lesson. It could have taken you under. Maybe at points it did. Perhaps there were points where you thought you might not even make it. You were drowning. You just were suffering. But you're not suffering anymore. You're not. And good health is on its way. Abundance is on its way. And I even think you might actually be attracting in a new, it says squad here, so I think like a new soul family. It could actually be a soulmate or just soulmates, like a platonic soulmate. And these people, it's not going to just be, oh, they like you a little bit and they'll play a few games here and there to make themselves feel better, that kind of energy that you've left. You're actually going to find people where you belong, and Spirit's asking you not to go anywhere that you don't belong. Don't settle. You don't need to settle. You're going to meet people with your vibration match, people that have done the work, people who have done the work and not got bitter, who have managed to not let life harden them, like whereby they start throwing their shadow all over the place, and just to feel good for a couple of minutes, if that. You're going to meet people that are truly healed, and if they're not completely healed, because healing, of course, it's a lifelong journey, they're healing and willing to heal. That's where they are. Right, so you're this other energy that always comes in, and as Spirit probably wants me to tell you, I need to tap into it. So you simply got fed up with this person. It might take longer than you wanted it to, but they're really struggling, okay? They're crying over you. They're heartbroken. Two heartbroken cards here. And I have a feeling you could have been in this energy once upon a time. Perhaps they played and toyed and scared and did so many games with you. You couldn't help but be heartbroken and depressed and scared and frustrated and just so uncomfortable. But you're not there anymore. But it's kind of like, this is where I'm going to this card about revenge. It's not about revenge, but now you've let go, learnt the lesson. Now the lesson has to go back to them. And I'm hearing that they thought they were the big person, knowing they were giving this to you. And I don't think you feel like, oh, great, I'm so glad that they're going through this. I think you have more empathy than that. But it's not your job either. I think you're aware. This is just how the divine works. You know, there is laws, there is, you know, there is a spiritual court, so to speak, and it has been called. Yeah, so this person has addictions and and they have addictions and they need to go into recovery. And they might do, but they aren't there yet. And Spirit wants you to know that a lot of why they were the way they were was because of their addictions. I don't know if they were hiding them from you, or they just have a plethora of different addictions, so it's not just one thing. You know, they're a damaged soul, and they're not tapping into the divine. And they probably used you and other people as a source of feeling like they have some control by hurting other people, so they don't have to recognize they have no control over themselves, and they're actually hurt inside themselves. Do you see what I mean? So to sort of throw it all outside, made them feel powerful, but now they're feeling rather powerless. So Spirit just wanted me to tell you that. There's a couple of things going on here. Yes, this person loves you so much, that's why they're crying, that's why they're heartbroken. 2 heartbroken cards. So this could be one of the biggest heartbreaks they've had to endure. I'm feeling more so because they were just playing stupid games, if not scary games. You know, like knowing that they were hurting you, enjoying that they were hurting you, and you got fed up of it and possibly are no longer in love with them, and they can feel that. But take that where that fits, because there might be some of you that love them still, but you've created a boundary at least. It says, I need you to help me, and it's upside down. I genuinely believe this person feels like they do need you to help them, but they would never admit it. But also I think it's upside down because Spirit doesn't want you to help them. You being in their energy was enough help, and for them to treat you the way that they did, they don't deserve it. So I believe it's upside down because they do, and they'll probably never admit it. And even if they do take the courage to do it, you've got protection. Spirit doesn't want you to, okay? This person, it's not like, oh, you don't deserve it, but you've done so much work here. You're completely different vibration to this. And yes, there are some people that can be very healed and still hold that vibration and deal with darker energies, denser energies. But for the most part, I'm just hearing it's not your job, okay? It's not your job to do this. Yes, this person misses you. Yes, it could be a twin flame soulmate, high level soulmate, karmic, you know, so the bond is strong, but they need to do this work if they so wish. You know, there's no signs here saying that they're going to. I think they're just desperate for your energy, but they will be contacting you soon. That card came out again. They're missing the chemistry. They know time is running out. They know you found God, but they're clinging onto your energy. So you might actually feel it. So be mindful if you're finding yourself thinking about them more all of a sudden, or feeling sorry for them, like maybe like concerned, worried for them. You don't need to be. God is looking after them. The Spirit is just balancing the scales. They need to sort of basically receive what they gave out, you know, so you can pray for them and things. Yeah, so this could be possibly somebody who was love bombing you. They're really hoping that your paths will reunite. They don't have this chemistry they had with you with everyone else. That bothers them. I think they possibly loved you the most, even if they had like a posse of different, I heard victims. Yeah, so you were their favourite victim, and hopefully that's victim like this, but, you know, possibly not. Yeah, so they're in their emotions. Pisces showing out twice there. Yeah, so they can't sleep. Got Leo here. Yeah, it says that they're coming back awakened. I don't know if that brings you any solace, and it did show out yesterday, but that energy was completely different. Yeah, I'm tempted to say that they chose a Pisces over you. Somebody that was easier to control, somebody who I'm hearing didn't have their own voice, or if they did, it was small. We've got Sagittarius here, so strong fire going on. Anything else, Spirit? Please allow the messages to fly out. But obviously put that where that fits. If you know this person doesn't have someone else in the picture, it could just be that they're in their emotions. So we've got quite a lot of star signs coming out here. So I'll read them out, and they can be yours or theirs. Virgo, Taurus, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Leo going on there. Yeah, so essentially they were just manipulative and possibly worse. I'm hearing coercion, mental abuse. I think yeah. It says you shine brighter, and when I read that, I'm hearing you shine brighter without them. And of course you would shine brighter without them, because you're not got this karmic energy around you. And you're stepping into this energy where you're finding happiness and joy. And even if it's just a moment here and there, you know, like you're sort of like, oh, I don't know if that doesn't really resonate. If you can think back, think about it. It's a bit, I'm hearing it's a bit like a season, you know, like when the seasons change, it's so gradual, but you don't recognize, you know, like if you look back at the different season, it was completely different. So perhaps it might be helpful for you to think about how just, you know, not for too long, because it does feel heavy, much heavier than this. So just to see the process and the progress you've made. I think you'll be impressed with yourself, how far you've come. You know, like this energy is like, this is down here and you're like up here, like that. It's night and day, the energy. Yeah, you're a healer, you're healed, you're probably able to heal other people more now. Not that I'm saying you go around being a healer, but you can just be in that energy more freely. And it doesn't mean that when this person was in your energy, you didn't have any healing energy emitting from you. You were. That's why they were doing what they were doing. But it's just not as they're not strangling the energy. So before it was coming out in tiny bits or something, whereas now it can be more free flowing. I'm seeing like a river flowing. Right, so Spirit wants me to tell you that if this person does contact you, your vibration is so different now that you might actually find that there is no magnetism, like you're not attracted to this anymore, because it was a wound you needed to heal to some degree, and it might have been finding your self-worth. So maybe you're in an energy without you knowing, sort of feeling like, I just need someone to love me. And this person, like, my life would be complete if only they choose me, love me. And what's happened is Spirit stepped in, made you realize you don't need them, and you can love yourself and get the love from the divine. And actually now you're looking back like, why would you want to be loved by somebody that was so manipulative, so karmic to you? So like, I don't think you will feel the same. Yes, you might love them, but they're not as an equal partner. I think the energy is almost now, they're so childish, so unawakened, that it's almost like a child to you. You know, there's no connection there as equal pairing. It's just a complete power imbalance. It does say that they're coming back awakened, but that doesn't mean you need to accept them. when they've awakened. I guess that, you know, of course, that's up to you. Give it to God if you're unsure about that. Yes, divine masculine upside down. So they still probably got some work to do, even if they have awakened, because they're not upright. You know, they're not upright. So they might be awakened to the fact that you don't want this. You know, like you don't want, because this energy feels to me a bit like, it's not a grown man, although this person could be 70. It's not a grown, you know, they haven't learned that they're dealing with energies that play games and wear masks and manipulate people and, you know, just unfair and, you know, just I'm hearing tedious. Yeah, people that can't take accountability. You want somebody that can take it, because no one's perfect, and everyone has moments where they're not, you know, I don't know, that you might have acted childish here or there, or, you know, everyone's acted out of character at some point, but this person, it's kind of is their character, and maybe they're becoming awakened to that their actual character is something that you don't want around. Maybe that's why they're crying so much. And maybe it comes from them pretending that they're not wounded. Whereas you recognise that you had wounds, recognised that you needed to do some work. Maybe, you know, you read some books and did, you know, you were honest. And that card is here. You were honest with yourself where you're at with it. Whereas this person saw all of that as a weakness. They just didn't want, you know, so they'd rather just cover all that up with a big thick rug and then go around making everyone else feel how they feel inside, and which would be heartbroken. But what's happened is it's just because of the divine nature of this connection. And again, it doesn't have to be divine, it's twin flame, soulmates, it could be other things, you know, like put it where it fits. Even karmic contracts are divine in their own nature. Please allow the messages to fly out that I need to know the most. Yeah, this person was into just not into the divine, essentially. Yeah, and they lost access to you and they know it. Maybe they, yeah, and it could be a twin flame because it's there. Maybe they just thought you were bluffing. You know, perhaps this was a bit in and out and before you came back, but that they can feel there's an energy difference. So that's why I'm consistently getting pulling readings, and the heartbroken is so big. You know, double, treble cards, different decks and things, because they really know you're not coming back. They have to face their own shadow they were giving you because you're not holding it. And if you do, it's time to time, but not like you used to. You were holding their pain. You progressed and left that pain behind, so they have to hold that pain. And when they're looking at it, they can't help but recognize, yeah, it comes from their wounds, and they can't help but recognize, why would you come back to something that was so dark? Maybe you've mentioned something about believing in God, or they've got a reading on you, and, you know, God, higher power, put it where it fits, because I know that, you know, that some people have negative connotations with that word. Yeah, and if this came out yesterday, and again, I think it's just know that it's a winding road, healing. You know, like you might have a few days on the trot and you're like, wow, I'm feeling really happy and joyful, and then it plateaus and you're like, oh yeah, it's still healing. You know, you're still in a better vibration than this. It's just because you're moving up a gear. When it does drop a little bit, you might be imagining it's going down where it used to be, and it's nowhere near that. It's night and day. Honestly, it's night and day. So maybe somebody needs to hear that. Try and have fun if you can, if you know what that entails for you. because you have had to overcome a massive loss. And although, you know, you're on the right, you're doing the right thing, you're on the right path, you've got good things coming, I still feel you found harmony, joy, relaxing. Think about what it is you could do. Maybe take yourself on a date. You know, you don't have to wait for someone else to bring you on a date. If, you know, like, the energy I'm feeling, I don't think you're even looking for anyone. I think you're just enjoying this time of finding yourself, you know, being your own mate, your own soul mate to your own soul. Because this was an ending. And although you graduated and you passed the test and your health is getting better and you found harmony, you found the angels and the ancestors, there's still loss. Probably not much of a loss compared to them, because what you're losing is sort of baggage, really. But it was a lesson. It was a lesson you learnt. And there's many people, many lifetimes, they don't learn this lesson, and you did. This lifetime you did it. Previous lifetimes you haven't. You've succumbed to the upside down divine masculine, or, you know, wherever, put it where it fits. You've become submissive to the wound, and you didn't. So give yourself a pat on the back, because no one else can manipulate you now. So maybe there are moments you feel hopeless, but I am being asked to tell you it's only because your vibration is getting higher. So when it drops a little bit, as things do, you know, there's a fluctuation. I think you're believing you're dropping down to where you were here, or it's much lower than it really is. It's not. It's just a few notches, and that's normal, that fluctuation. It's like temperature, you know. It's not something to worry about. Just ride it out. Okay, so I saw Love Call flash out, and there was a mention of them getting in contact, and sorry, Love Call here, exactly. And there was another contact card in there, which was, you know, similar to most readings. So they definitely are going to make contact with you, but don't be surprised if you don't feel any attraction or any desire, you know, like, I don't know, just like the chemistry's not there. You're the runner, you're ascending. I'm going to put that hopeless energy there, because you could also just be feeling a bit hopeless because they're pulling onto your energy, because I did see the clinging card. So be aware of that too. Send it back to sender, blessed and transmuted. Yeah, so you're ascending, if not ascended. You know, you can have a few ascensions. I think you might be meeting a soulmate. Again, like I said before, it could actually just you being mates with your own soul. Butterfly again. But I have a feeling you could actually meet somebody, you know, like it might be romantic. It doesn't have to be. You could meet a really good friend who, you know, changes the game. Yeah, somebody who doesn't have influences and third parties and needs loads of attention to fill themselves up, and, you know, somebody who's wounded. This is what you're leaving behind. And I think maybe what will happen is, if you step into, whether it be platonic or romantic, I think even if they stepped into your energy now, you would feel sort of like there's no magnetism, there's no attraction for this because of the vibration change. But I have a feeling that once this person comes in, friend or romantic, it's really going to change the game. Not because they give you anything you can't give yourself. I think it will just, I don't know, like the comparison will be too stark. It would just be, you will see these crumbs for what they are. And I don't think you'll even see them as crumbs. I think you'll see them as like little rocks. Like, you can't eat rocks. There's no nutrition in rocks. Crumbs, there's tiny bits of nutrition, but, you know, not enough to sustain anything. But rocks, you know, you're not going to eat rocks. And then because you're not going to eat these rocks, they're going to have to kick rocks, because I don't know why I'm saying that. Hopefully there's not a, because we did see substance abuse earlier. So maybe they're going through a really hard time. Please allow the messages to fly out in God's will. Yeah, they're hoping you've not completely, they know you've closed the door. They know the door is is moving. So maybe before it looked a bit like a fence that they could jump over, then it was a proper wooden door, then it's become an iron door, and now they're scared that you're actually going to start putting nails in that door, so they can't, you know, like they'll never be able to get in. Messages for the collective, please, Spirit. The highest good of all. Yeah, this was a karmic relationship, and you don't want a karmic relationship. And karmic relationship essentially means lessons. But when you're both in that energy and you haven't found self-worth, which you have done now, the lessons are hard. And if you, you know, they're looking for wounded people that don't want to heal, and you're looking for somebody who, of course, we all go through wounds, but are healing those wounds and want to heal those wounds, not add to the wounds, not bring salt along to the wound, stab the wounds. You're looking for softer lessons, because life is always going to give you lessons. And this, I just think you're going to see this as, well, you've learnt these lessons, that they're behind you. It's like doing a degree, the same degree again when you've done it. Like, well, you know, if you like, I'm sure there'll be things like, oh, you know, I guess I didn't remember that, and I could, you know, that small point, but, you know, really, yeah. So time is up on this. Yeah, there's clinging, and that showed out before. That they're really hurt. I mean, they're beside themselves. They know you don't want this stress that they gave you. Perhaps it was keeping you around. You know, that you had to heal some wound, but you got clarity and truth about whatever that wound was. Could be codependency, to a lack of self-worth, you know, like, yeah, it's over, finality. They know it, you know it, but you're good. You're stepping into a better chapter. You've got a better vantage point. You've got wings here. You've got a balloon here. You've got soulmates coming. Lots of lovely green fields that you can run in and run away from this person. Protection, spirituality, harmony. This is all dark. All these cards are dark. That, you know, like, it's like, I don't know what that's called. I just thought of, you know, the cave things, and you climb into the cave and you dig in the cave. Like, I know some people seem to love that, but I couldn't think of anything worse. So put where it fits, but that's the image I got, that you couldn't run. You have to go through like little cracks and holes and squeeze in, and you might find a little dark cave eventually. And that's all you can do over there. Please allow the messages to fly out for the highest good of all. Note that the wisdom is small there. Yeah, they really don't want you to release this. They're not having a good time. So, you know, if this person didn't do anything terribly awful to you, even if they did, and you do have that level of empathy, I would pray for them. Because this kind of energy, I don't think they're not going to go to God with it. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do. But I might be tapping into people today where they're actually just going to drink or do other things, anything, just not to feel the pain. Messages for the collective. I don't want to get into the energy too much, please, Spirit. Thank you. Yeah, they love you, and the twin flame journey is upside down because you've said goodbye. And it's because they're an upside down divine masculine. They didn't want to ascend. They wanted you to be in the cave with them, with a little flashlight on your head, squeezing through little rock, you know, like big massive rocks, and barely being able to breathe and things. And you wanted to get on a balloon. You wanted to fan out your wings. Yeah, they're shocked. They're shocked. Maybe you had a spiritual awakening, you know, so maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, you were right in there. You had your flashlight on. And then you came out the cave, you took the flashlight off, you ran across the field, got onto the balloon and now you're with God. And they're just like, what? I thought you loved this cave. Or this caving. Sorry, I wish I knew what that was called. But that was what Spirit gave me. Oh, I'm hearing this person's thankful that you didn't backstab them. I don't know why they would be. I don't think that's your, like, I don't get the energy off you that you are that way inclined. Maybe you know something about them and you haven't gone public with it, or told, you know, gossiped about it, or whatever it might be. Yeah, you're healing. 2 healing cards. Dragonflies here, which again has got another healing card on it, but you know, again, wings, balloon, you like, it isn't, the energies are night and day. I'll take one more card, please, Spirit, for the highest good of all. What's on the bottom of the deck? Yeah, they are at their breaking point, that you've got on this ship. That you know, whatever you want to call it, balloon, ship, found your wings. It's not anywhere near them, and they love you. We've got 2 I love you cards. They love you. They're heartbroken, and maybe they do come back awakened. Maybe they do, you know. But I do have a feeling that you just won't be attracted to it. And I don't care what it looks like. I mean, I don't really feel like you're looking at this person's social media, and maybe haven't done for a long time, if you ever were. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have a poker face and, you know, looking like they're having the time of their life, and, you know, like that kind of thing. That's not what's going on. I just saw 2 of Cups flashing. This person has a lot of love for you, and perhaps you have a lot of love for them too, but you have more love for yourself and the divine. You found your self-worth, and if anything, maybe you thank this person, that, well, not thank them, you know, like call them up and give them a thank you, but you probably wouldn't have found it had this not come along in your path. But put that where that fits, because that might not be the case for everyone. You probably didn't recognise how strong you were until you graduated from this lesson, and you were just at the crossroads all the time, just insecure. And this is where they wanted you. They needed you to be in that energy for you to stay, but you grew out of it, and now your sword is up. Now they want to come in. They're restless. They didn't know you were the kind of level of resilience. I don't know why, though. I don't know why. You know, they misread it. Yeah, they wanted you to be a victim. And that came out earlier. Yeah, you're the Empress. And you're moving on the boat with your wings. Gonna get on a balloon. Gonna meet a soulmate. You graduated. It's death to this. They're heartbroken. They really are. I don't want to go into that energy too much, Spirit. And they know it's because they weren't an emperor to you in your life. And I saw you wanted 2 of Cups from them, but they didn't, you know, they wanted love from them, but they were giving you cups full of crap. Maybe this person's got some status or something. Maybe they made you feel like, oh, well, if you were better, you know, maybe I would give you the time of day. Like, perhaps they didn't say it like that, but that's what they were making you feel like. So you were like, oh, if I was better looking, if I had a better job, if I was better this, better that. And actually you grew out of it with spirits and recognized that they weren't good enough for you, but not for any 3D material way. It's how they are at heart, their character. And also, you recognised how fearless you were. It's your Wheel of Fortune to recognise you don't want to be codependent on something that makes you feel like crap. And that's all this person could do, but they needed you there. That's why the heartbroken card's out again. You're not there. You'll never go back there. I hope to God, anyway. Yeah, they don't want you to move on. Of course they don't, because they love you. 2 of Cups, they love you. In their own little warped way, but they need you to put that flashlight back on and go digging in the caves. But you don't want conflict. You don't want burdens. And perhaps this person was disturbing, like they just would keep bringing things to you that were to play with your emotions, and, you know, just, you didn't feel safe. You just, like, it was like an absolute roller coaster, like a, you know, like a Halloween one, you know, just, yeah. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for being here. Archangel Michael, please bless myself and the collective. So mote it be.